But let's get into some scenes here. We can start with the very opening scene. This should be standard on how to open a movie in terms of...
Give me the monologue. Give it to us.
No, in terms of introducing the bad guys. Because this is perfect. Introducing the bad guys. So we have the narrator talking about what life was like in the Old West with that 1 minute long old reel style thing. A band of outlaws gathered together, and they were the first organized crime in America. They call themselves the Cowboys. And then you see the guy put the gun to the camera, and then you hear the actual gunshot, and then bam, and then you see them riding in.
They call themselves the Cowboys.
Oh, so good.
A great way
so
to
good.
open it, man.
And you see this scene, and you know that these oh my god, these poor Mexicans, they're in so much they're in so much trouble. They're in so much trouble.
That's crazy.
No, that was not intentional, Quentin, okay?
I did, dude. I don't even know what you're talking about.
But no, they ride into a town in Mexico, and
it's barely even a town, though, isn't it? It's just...
It is. But that's where all the there's a Mexican couple getting married.
Yeah, it's like a church.
Yeah.
To me, it was just like a church with a few
there's
buildings
a couple other buildings
getting married.
But they're getting married, and it's all Mexican police that are, the groomsmen there, apparently. And then the Cowboys show up, and we got Powers Boothe out in the front. And dude, I love Powers Boothe in this.
That's the guy that was wearing red in the movie, right?
Yes.
He's fucking great.
Curly Bill.
Curly Bill, that's it.
Yes. And he just does that little laugh, and then he takes those red sashes and throws them up in the air. And with that great accent, because...
Y'all killed 2 cowboys.
And then all of a sudden it just pops off, and all the Mexican guys are just blown away. This is actually, if you think about it, this is it opens with the darkest scene in the movie. This is some dark stuff going on here.
Debatable.
You don't think
debatable.
so?
No. Van Kilmer's deathbed. That shit was dark.
Oh, but the snooker table.
That was pretty dark too. But I'm talking because maybe I'll persuade you guys a little bit, because once they finish...
I mean, there's some darker stuff, there's some darker themes that go on.
Darker themes for sure.
Well, it's not just because it introduces the bad guys, and it shows that almost all of them have no soul whatsoever.
Hey, they didn't kill the priest.
Yes, they did. The most soulless one did.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
they avoid it. The priest's going, I've got God on my side, because he's getting away with so much considering what just happened.
But once they wipe them all out, except for the bride and the groom, you hear that one guy in the background. Looks like we win.
Yep.
Looks like we win.
Dude, so part of me the sadistic part of me thinks, we'll get to it later, but there's a sadistic part of me that thinks like a lot of this movie is a comedy. But anyway, so he tells...
It reminded me of Gangs of New York in some parts.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So,
I don't know why. Go ahead.
Powers Boothe, as Curly Bill, he tells the guy to get on his knees, and then when he doesn't, he says, hey, somebody get on his knees, and they shoot him in the knee. You hit him on his knees, and then that's when
that's a good joke.
And they're having a great time while they're doing this.
It's so dark to say it, but that is a bloody good... Like, the guy won't get on his knees, because he's a cop. He's a Mexican cop, for lack of a better term. And he won't get on his knees. Someone shoots him in the knee, so he has to drop to his knees.
Curly Bill taunts him, says, gracias. And then he makes that short little speech. And then that's when the priest comes in and basically tells them the whole biblical stuff, and I love this part because they're really establishing who's who already within the bad guys, essentially, because the Spanish guy looks back and he says he's telling something about, he sits on some sick horse, and it's I don't know what he's talking about. It's crazy. He's a madman. And then Johnny Ringo, who's played by Michael Biehn, leans over and he says, that's not what he said, you ignorant wretch. Your Spanish is worse than your English. Which right away goes to tell you, not that he's an asshole. We already know that, but this guy is intelligent,
Intelligent, yeah.
and if he's
a
or
force
at
to
least
be
well
he's a force to
educated.
be reckoned with.
Yes,
This guy's in here, and he's got.
We
the
get more of
balls
that
to-
later in the film too.
yeah.
He's got the balls to say that to another one of his guys. Like this guy's a menace. He's the one to watch out for.
And then that's when the groom looks up at Curly Bill and goes, "You go to hell," and he says, "You first," and then bam, blows him away. And this is the part that it's really dark, I think, is when he dies and the bride is over his body and crying. She's totally distraught. And then four cowboys get and drag her away, and one of them's picking at her dress, and Lord knows what they did with her. So,
And then you do see something here I want to touch on a little bit, just Yondu. Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, the actor's name? Michael Rooker. You see him in disapproval. He's hanging back, and he's not joining these guys that is taking her into the church to do God knows what.
That's what we call foreshadowing.
It is foreshadowing, full send. And it was light. I was like waiting for it to pay off through the whole movie. And I was like, when it finally did, I was like, there he is. Oh, great opening scene, bro.
That is what I meant by it get the darker themes.
Yeah.
I didn't mean look darker late in the film. I meant that because that one.
It's so fucked. You're right on the money, actually. I forgot about that scene, which is strange.
The bride on her wedding day who's walked out, couldn't be happier. Her brand new husband is killed. Everyone's
and now it's the worst day of her life.
Four guys pick her up and
Lord knows why.
We're not going to say it, but I think we can all probably.
It's implied.
They thank God they leave that up to the imagination. Yes.
Don't imagine that. Not to be.
That's when. But because it's a wedding, the scene's not over. They all are gathering at the table, and meanwhile, the guy on the horse is still shooting shit.
Psychopath.
Yeah. So they go over the table, and that's when the priest decides he's going to chastise them some more. And he walks up to him and starts pointing at him and yelling some more things in Spanish. And that's when Johnny Ringo just fucking turns and blasts him right in the head. Dude, this is textbook how to establish who the bad guys are. Because what happens 5 seconds after he shoots him? Curly Bill looks out at everybody and then just starts dying laughing.
Yeah, he's a sick fuck.
Sick fucking dude.
If you're going to do that kind of raid, if that's what you're doing, go to a wedding. They get there, they kill everyone. You've accomplished your raid, and there's a buffet waiting for you. They all go and sit at the table, and that's when the priest comes out. The priest starts running his mouth. I'm sorry, there's a time and a place to run your fucking mouth.
Dude, he made a big mistake.
And when everyone around you who are your friends have just been shot to fucking death, shut the fuck up.
Really?
Just really?
True words have not been said, my friend. Right on the money with that. Just shut the fuck up and get out of there before they decide to shoot you.
Go in there and start praying like fuck.
Yeah.
That's your life. That's your
Let me
job.
ask you something, Craig. Do you think that, because they didn't shoot him in his first tirade, do you think that maybe there was a stigma about, shooting a religious person?
That's exactly what I thought was going on. And then when he did that, because they didn't want to do it, but when he did that, the fact that someone else has done it, that's why they can laugh. That's why, because they're not.
But the fact that
celebrating it, but they laugh at it.
I think that because if that's true, what you just said, where there was a stigma around shooting, a priest and being maybe a bad luck thing or something, that maybe they are scared of something happening.
Well, obviously, you go to hell for taking a priest's life, whatever connotation you're going to attach to it. But, But this guy did it. Someone else did it for us. Now we don't have to listen. It's very simple as we don't have to fucking listen to this guy anymore. We can enjoy the banquet that these people were going to have.
But I think it also establishes more that Ringo is the biggest wild card in that group. You don't know what
he has zero fucks to give in any given situation.
He didn't even think twice about it.
He gave him. I think he gave him enough rope to hang himself with.
He might have.
As far as Ringo was going to go, he didn't do it straight. He could have done it any time. Ringo goes, go and take enough rope. Take enough rope. Right, that's it. I
Yeah.
can make a noose now.
And then
I
to
think
establish
that-
again that Johnny Ringo is the most educated man in the group. Curly Bill asks him, what was he talking about sitting on a pale horse and stuff like that? And then he starts quoting, he says he was quoting the Bible, Revelations, which is what? Behold the pale horse.
Yeah, it's like
the
four
man that
horsemen.
sat on him was death, and hell followed with him. I think that's what he says. But
which turned out to be somewhat true. He was, well, not somewhat true, but learned Latin, Greek, and French, I believe.
Latin, Greek, yeah, you said the Mediterranean languages, right?
Yeah. So if you're learning Latin, there's a damn good chance a lot of that would, because the Bible was transposed from Greek into translated from Greek into Latin originally. So there's a damn good chance that if he was learning those languages, he would have been reading a lot of biblical scriptures.